Hi, this is Dave with DK Cattle Company. Today I wanted to make a quick video talking about the perfect chore tractor for a small farm or homestead. So let's get into it. First thing that we're going to work front to back here. First thing I want to talk about is the front end loader. A good chore tractor, you cannot get a tractor without a loader now. There's a lot of 3-point implements that will make you think that you can get away with just having a 3-point with like cool attachments for your 3-point. You're just not going to get away with that nowadays. We use the tractor's loader more than anything else, any other function of the tractor. I use the front end of this tractor way more than the back end. So for the loader, you need a good amount of capacity. This specific loader has about 1,600 pounds of capacity, and with that, we have pallet forks and a bucket. Those are the only 2 attachments you need. A lot of people will get a bale spear. I think when you're starting out and you don't have a lot of money for these kind of things, it's just kind of a waste of money. I can pick up pallets with the pallet forks, but I can also pick up round bales, loose material, brush, stuff like that. It's good for that. So things of that nature. If you have a lot of brush, or you're doing a lot of like silvopasture or like woodland projects, a grapple would be nice, but you can do a lot with the pallet forks in replacement of that. So that really just comes down to what fits in your budget. And then a bucket is good for any sort of dirt work or things of that nature that you need to do around the property. We have a gravel driveway, so being able to grade that out, to bring in stone, move stone where we need to and stuff has been really nice. For the front end loader, I would recommend at least 1,600 pounds of capacity, because what it's rated for is what it can lift up. But as far as going around with that load, you want whatever the thing that you're lifting up to be about less than 75% of that max load if you're going to travel with it. So for a round bale, you can get up to 1,000 pounds on a big 4x5, or even a 5x5 might be like 1,100 pounds. So for that, you want a tractor that's capable of not only lifting that up, but taking it wherever you need to go. And what that leads us into with that capacity is the overall weight of the tractor. Horsepower matters less and less these days, because more and more implements are geared towards those lower horsepower tractors, because that's just kind of the way the industry is going towards. Like, not a lot of people have $80,000-$90,000 to spend on a tractor, especially for a smaller farm. So there's a lot of implements for those lower horsepower rating tractors, but the huge thing you need to pay attention to is weight. I didn't really realize how much weight would play into the function of a tractor, but with the front end loader of a tractor, it's over here, then your front axle's here, and the engine's kind of over that a little bit, and then back. With the weight of the tractor, if it's too light of a tractor, you could have the best front end loader ever, and it will tip your tractor all day long, because you don't have enough weight in the rear to counter that load. Same thing goes for traction. If I'm pulling something on the back of the tractor, like a seeder or a tiller or anything like that, the heavier that tractor is, the more efficiently and effectively it's going to pull any implement that is digging into the dirt behind the tractor. So weight is a huge thing, and more important than the horsepower rating. This specific tractor is a 35 horsepower tractor, and you can get them as light as 2,000 pounds. And in this tractor, in this configuration, weighs about 4,200 pounds with the tires filled with beet juice. I wouldn't buy, now that I have a tractor with fluid filled tires, I would not buy a tractor without having the tires filled with fluid. It makes a big difference for doing any sort of loader work, and it just, that extra weight really helps you for anything that you need extra traction for, and for that extra stability. So that's a big thing, is the weight. Now let's go into the horsepower of the tractor. Like I said, this specific tractor is a 35 horsepower tractor. I would like more power. I think for the money, this is a really good configuration for a tractor for the price point. If I could get into a 50 to 70 horsepower tractor, that would be great. I think that's like the perfect zone, because you also don't want a tractor that's so big that like in this like gross wet time of year, you're just tearing up everything. And it just kind of becomes cumbersome for doing stuff in a wooded environment. We have a good amount of timber here, and going back there with a big tall tractor would be kind of annoying. But something a little bit more horsepower than that. But I think anything between 30 to 70 horsepower is going to be your sweet range. Especially for a smaller farm, I would stick more sub 40, because you can get something in a bigger frame like this that's sub 40 horsepower is kind of the happy medium for a smaller producer. Next, as we work back, you'll notice that my tractor does not have a cab. That is an $8,000 option, and I have warm coats. So if that's important to you and it's worth it, it's worth it. But for us here in Ohio, we have all 4 seasons. We've had a brutal winter, and I haven't regretted getting in an open station cab tractor. But if that's important to you, then obviously, like, by all means, go for it. Just for us personally, it wasn't worth it. A real big thing to that was the timber. We have a lot of timber, and going back into the trees and stuff with a cab didn't sound too appealing to me, because there's some tighter spots. This tractor is kind of the perfect size, because you can do tractor stuff with it, but it's also small enough that you can get it back in the nooks and crannies, kind of in the woods. So for us personally, this has been a great fit for us. But if you don't have like a lot of timber or anything like that, and you have, you know, very brutal winters or really, really hot summers, then by all means, you know, splurge on a cab. It really just comes down to your budget more than anything. Would I have gotten a cab if money was no object? Absolutely. But I don't regret not getting a cab, if that makes sense. Another huge thing when you're picking out a tractor is the horsepower and the weight. The next thing is going to be the transmission. We have an HST transmission. I think that's extremely important. So that's a hydrostatic transmission. It means that it just has a high and a low, and it has 3 gears, a low, medium, and high gear, and then a high, low, and your throttle. It makes it incredibly simple to operate and very easy for a new producer like we are. The first tractor I ever drove was this tractor. I've never driven a tractor before in my life. We have like almost 150 hours on this tractor. So I've driven this one a decent amount. I'm familiar with equipment, but I've just never had the opportunity. I'm first generation. I wasn't raised around this stuff. I'm doing it all for the first time. So when you're getting into that environment and you're new to it, you got to take out as many learning curves as you can. So that HST transmission is really great for that, because it just kind of dumbs down the learning curve. And then maybe you're extremely proficient with a manual tractor transmission, and you were born on a tractor and everything. Well, if you have kids or a wife or someone who isn't, that you want them to be able to do stuff, I still think it's a really good choice, because if I go out of town and I need my wife to do something, she's not familiar with the manual transmission tractor either, but I can throw her on this no problem. She has no problem operating this tractor because it is so simple to use. I wanted something that was very easy and unintimidating to the new producer, and this thing definitely checks those boxes. 3-point capacity matters. Like, as we work back, 3-point capacity matters, but not something that I was crazy concerned with. Anything, the capacity on this tractor is like 3,000 pounds, and anything that heavy, you're already kind of getting into another class of tractor to pull that implement anyway. So you're kind of defeating the purpose there. Like, it's over what you're gonna need in most circumstances, but something to note just in case that capacity is weird. Another thing would be the tires. We have R1 industrial tires on our tractor. I wouldn't get turf tires, but if you have more of a muddier soil, we have very heavy clay soils. These tires do great of not tearing it up, but also getting good traction. I did kind of want more ag tires, like more the traditional tractor tire. But I'm glad I went with the industrial tires, just because I haven't gotten stuck or anything like that, and it doesn't seem to tear up the ground as much on these like wetter condition days. But those are really the things you need to consider, is the front end loader and your attachments, the horsepower and transmission of the tractor, having it as simple as possible, and a power rating that makes sense for your application, a weight that makes sense for your application. You know, a cab or open station, you can save a lot of money going with an open station, but you obviously have a lot more comfort with a cab. And then your 3-point capacity / PTO horsepower, you know, that all makes a difference. But and then the type of tires that you're going to run. But those are really the things that I would think about. The things I think stick out for a new producer would really just getting a tractor that's easy for you to use. So again, like an HST transmission, no def on a tractor like this, you know, real simple. This specific tractor that I have is the Kubota L3560. I like this specific tractor a lot, but the tractor that I described, a 35 to 70 horsepower HST transmission tractor, every manufacturer makes one that's good. I'm not gonna, this isn't a Kubota commercial, but if I could upgrade tractor right now, that new Kubota MX 4900 is probably what I would go to. I think that's like the ultimate small property tractor right now. It's like the perfect horsepower rating at that 50 horsepower rating, you know, with a nice cab and stuff, and it's their economy tractor. So for what it is, you're getting a good price. You'll find that some manufacturers charge a lot of money for certain options. Some manufacturers charge $5,000 to $6,000 for a 4-wheel drive. Kubotas come with 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive is extremely important for 99% of people. It's one of those things that you really need when you need it. So especially on these smaller tractors where you don't have all the weight to give you traction, you're gonna need those extra wheels moving to give you traction. So 4-wheel drive is really important. But those are kind of the things that I was thinking of just off the top of my head for someone who's new on a smaller farm or starting a homestead, the things that I would look into when buying a tractor. If you have any questions about tractors, please leave it in the comments below. Please tell me what kind of tractor you have, and like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you a lot for watching the videos. I know I'm a little clunky in some of these, and I appreciate your patience with me as I get used to this. It's my first time filming myself, and it's like really awkward talking to a camera. So I appreciate your viewership, and have a good day. Bye.